Press conferences are usually all microphones, mind games, and measured bravado. But this one blew past all that and erupted like a volcano.
It reminds me of like one of those budget YouTube hood movies where someone just talks about their whole life and what they've come from and talking as if they're from one of the ghettos in Iraq or Africa or somewhere like that. But you know, he's got a sob story, he's running by it, and that's what makes him feel better, so we respect it. I just kind of listened and said my piece.
And you said to him, what have you done? Tell us what you've done.
Because as I said, like, you line up all the heavyweights, he was just talking about, oh, he's this, he's that, he's that. I said, but why are you worrying about what someone else has done? What have you done as a fighter to kind of boost your ego up? But he couldn't answer it because he ain't fought.
Jake Paul came grinning, poking, testing boundaries like always, until Anthony Joshua rose up like a man done with internet antics and disrespect. 1 second later, AJ was chest to chest, furious, focused, reminding Jake this isn't a prank channel. This is heavyweight reality, nothing cute about it.
But if I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna break his face, I'm gonna break his body up, I'm gonna stomp all over him. That's my mentality, right? That's a fighter's mentality, and I know what's in my heart, I know what's in my mind, and I'm here to compete. I'm here to prove myself that I'm the better fighter, so I'm looking forward to it, and I'll do that until I finish fighting, no matter who it is.
AJ snapped, we can fight now. We can fight tomorrow, and suddenly the room felt too small for two egos that big. Security surged in, voices exploded, cameras shook, and the crowd roared like they just watched round zero. And in that chaos, one thing became obvious. Jake thought he was winning the marketing game, but AJ turned it into a real fight, the kind where feelings bruise long before faces do.
Netflix have spent a lot of money, MVP have spent a lot of money, and Jake would look like a plonker if he pulled out the fight now after giving it the big one. And he knows that, and this fight's happening. You know, and that they think, look, one thing I'll say is this: if there was ever a good time to fight Anthony Joshua, it's probably now, right? Coming out of what will be 14 months of inactivity. By the way, he's also been in training camp for 4 weeks or 5 weeks, the time comes around. He's having to make weight. Maybe the confidence isn't where it has been in his career. So yeah, you can start dressing it up.
Then we slide straight out of that chaos and into full Teddy Atlas mode. Sitting at the boxing family dinner table while Uncle Teddy pours scorching truth on the mashed potatoes. And when a legend like Teddy says, don't be shocked if Jake Paul actually has a chance, you almost spit out your drink.
The choice of where people want to go to watch, it's still their choice. Before we look at all the reasons why Joshua should smash him, he's a pro fighter, two-time Olympian, two-time heavyweight champ, you know, bigger, stronger, you know, highest level of fighting at this weight class. I mean, he should destroy him like he destroyed Ngannou. And a lot of people will use that comparison. But styles make fights. And Jake Paul's not gonna fight him.
Teddy breaks it down like he's solving a case file. Jake's younger. Jake's fresher. Jake's clever with the contract traps. Meanwhile, Joshua hasn't fought in ages, is cutting weight like he's preparing for a fashion runway, and mentally, no one knows which AJ shows up. Teddy's listing the stuff the internet refuses to think about, including the reality that Jake simply surviving 8 rounds could count as a W in the Jake Paul universe.
Maybe Paul has some advantages. He's younger. His feet are a little faster. I know he's not at that level of a fighter, I get it. But his feet are faster. Joshua's feet are not that fast, closing gaps, getting to somebody. To hit him, even if you're better than him, you still got to get to him to hit him. Also, Joshua, last time he fought was over a year. He hasn't fought. He was basically retired. Where's his mind at?
He even mentions Netflix lawyers like they're protecting civilization, insisting nobody's approving a live broadcast disaster. And all of us sit there thinking, is Teddy Atlas actually saying this upset isn't impossible? That's when you realize this fight officially graduated from circus to science experiment, and maybe, just maybe, it's too early to laugh.
I'm just putting it out there that before you just say, yeah, it's gotta be Joshua, don't discount how smart Mr. Paul has been so far. I wouldn't count him out in the ways that I just...
Then we drift out of Teddy Atlas and crash straight into Dave Allen, who talks like a bartender who's heard every insane story twice. He's staring at BoxRec like it's a police file, double-checking Jake Paul's opponents to make sure he isn't hallucinating. And honestly, we're all nodding because this matchup feels like boxing hit the randomizer button.
I reckon this kid Jake Paul could win an area title, definitely. I really think he could. He trains hard. I respect all of that. I respect him for what he's doing. Brilliant, he's having a go, amazing. But he's now fighting arguably a top 3 top heavyweight of the last 10, 15 years. One, it's dangerous. We're talking like it's a real fight. The whole thing I've been doing right now is based on it's a real fight. They're both going to try.
Dave starts listing Jake's resume like a roast. YouTuber, check. Basketball player, check. Retired MMA guys, check. Tommy Fury, good kid but area level at best. Even my coffee freezes mid-sip. But Dave still gives Jake his credit. We're talking about a top 3 heavyweight of the last 15 years versus a former 13-stone YouTuber. Even logic is begging for mercy. And Dave finally says the quiet truth, this isn't funny. It's dangerous. Heavyweight sleep mode dangerous.
Dangerous. He's not a heavyweight, he's a cruiserweight, if that. Turned pro at 13-2. And he wasn't a kid, he was 23 years of age. He wasn't a kid, he's not grown into heavyweight. He boxed us 5 months ago at 14-3. Might cut a bit of weight, might come down from 15 stone, but it's dangerous, really. It's dangerous, very dangerous, because if Anthony Joshua hits him on the chin, he will put him to sleep.
If AJ lands clean, Jake might start wondering why the sky suddenly has 2 moons. And Dave's not trash talking. He actually hopes AJ drops him clean, Jake beats the count, everyone gets paid and we avoid ambulances. But then he hits the nightmare note. What if AJ really hurts him? What does that do to sanctioning, promoters, the sport? Suddenly we're all wearing that same uneasy grin, because everything's fun and games until a heavyweight detonates on a cruiserweight frame. Dave sums it perfectly. It's entertaining, but you watch it like a stunt that might end with paramedics.
He's there to watch it for me, yeah, I will watch it. The same way I would go to the circus to watch, to be entertained by something a bit mad. But Anthony Joshua, for taking the fight, I'm not sure. It's a lot of money to turn down, to be fair. But if Anthony Joshua goes in there with Jake Paul, plays nicely, wins on points, takes longer than 2 or 3 rounds, reputation with the casual public, done. I'll watch it if he's holding him up and playing nicely. I'll understand. I'll watch it and think, well, he could have stopped.
Sliding out of Dave Allen and his safety manual energy, we land with Steve Board, someone who's actually been in Jake Paul camp, eating punches and watching this chaos from the inside. And Steve sounds like that friend who says, yeah bro, it's nuts, but hear me out, while holding a parachute. He swears Jake's mentality is the wild card. The guy truly believes he can beat Anthony Joshua. That stubborn confidence is half the reason this fight exists. Steve says Jake's been craving a real test, not ex-NBA players or semi-retired MMA veterans.
Joshua, you know, he's accomplished everything in boxing, from Olympic gold medal to now a 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. So I think as far as him taking this fight, if anybody deserves to go and have a fun fight like this, it is Anthony Joshua. And Jake, you know, he is kind of showing that he'll fight.
Now he finally gets to download everything he's learned against a man who punches like a runaway refrigerator. It's the equivalent of skipping driving lessons and entering Formula 1. Admirable but terrifying. And Steve's like, yep, let's find out. Then the interviewer tosses out the classic UK question, is AJ chinny? Steve reacts like someone insulted his mum's cooking. He breaks it down, heavyweight shots aren't taps, they're meteors. Ruiz, Dubois, Klitschko. Those guys can floor anyone. And when asked if Jake can hurt AJ, Steve goes scientist, speed is power. Translation, danger doesn't always show up looking huge. Sometimes it shows up wearing good footwork.
Why is he chinny? Because he got stopped by Daniel Dubois and Ruiz. I mean, listen, this is a contact sport, you know? Like if you get hit, the human body's not made to be getting punched in the face. If if you get hit, especially by these guys, Andy Ruiz, who's a good puncher, Dubois, we know is a big puncher. You get hit clean, you're gonna go. You're possibly gonna go down. Especially those guys, 230, 40, 50-pound guys. You know.
He says Jake is sharp, quick, unpredictable, but AJ isn't coming to play. Joshua's prepping for Tyson Fury, and Jake is trying to crash that party like a wild card villain. So the question isn't can Jake land? It's can he survive what lands back? And that tension is why we're all counting days like kids waiting for a roller coaster drop. This whole thing is part blockbuster, part experiment. Joshua turned the press conference into round zero. Jake's bringing confidence and real heavyweight sparring. Teddy says don't ignore the variables. Dave says it's fun but dangerous. Steve says mentality plus speed might make it crazier than anyone expects.
But I would imagine he's gonna come, he's gonna be on his P's and Q's. He knows there'll be a lot of eyes on him for this fight, so he's gonna be looking to make a statement, because I think they have plans of him fighting Tyson Fury next. So I think he's gonna take this very seriously, and Jake's definitely taking it very seriously, and he's gonna try.
So in the end, if AJ shows up locked in, it might be a short night. But if Jake survives long enough to make us lift an eyebrow, we might witness one of the most polarizing shocks in boxing history. Drop your prediction in the comments. Who wins? How long does it last? And is there any universe where Jake pulls it off? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters.